Hey guys, welcome to Roots Refuge Farm. My name is Jess. If you're new here, I'm so glad you're here. If you've been here before, I'm also glad you're here. Welcome back. I have a vlog for you guys to watch today, but I'm making an announcement here before the vlog. When I do these like editing Jess announcements telling you guys what we've got going on, I always feel like this video is sponsored by Roots Refuge Farm. I don't know if y'all can see my hummingbirds back there, but feel free to listen and watch back there for the hummingbird action. They're far more interesting than I am. So today I want to tell you guys, we have new stickers in our sticker shop. I have two new artists to tell you about today. Their stickers are all available, as well as some of those older designs. We still have stock of some of those. Once those go out of stock, we will likely just leave those out of stock. And the two designs that we recently launched as shirts are now available as stickers. Bravely Hope and Keep Growing Flowers, as well as Less Fear, More Plants, which we have a lot of stickers. So I'm just going to show you my favorites, and you can go check out the website to see the rest because they're really good. The first one is an artist named Carol Michelle, and my favorite thing about how we have been able to do this is our artists are people who watch our channel and have different mediums that they create art. And so it's always a thrill to me when I get the designs in. So they submit their designs that they're, proposing for stickers. And it's amazing because it's like I get to see what we do and what has impacted an individual artist and kind of like their take on it. So how I actually found Carol was she made this design and tagged me in on Instagram, and it was a quote that I had said. And I messaged her and was like, hey, can I hire you? Because I would love to have you design some stickers. And the quote is, you cannot have perfection and abundant life in the same place. And also, these are just some of the things that kind of stood out to her. Some different quotes, like Jeremiah saying, it's back on the menu, boy. This one I think is my absolute favorite. It's my stained glass window in the greenhouse. Pretty awesome. There are so many other really cool ones. Here, of course, got a sunflower, make room for joy, and a handful of other really cool ones that are little references. Oh, this one's really cool. So it's like a compass rose, but it's an iris rose, because I kind of got on an iris kick. So awesome. I will also put a link to the artist's website or social media or whatever they have. One of the things that we love being able to do in like hiring these small artists to design our stickers is give them exposure as well, so you can go check out their art. I know that a few of the artists that we've featured have gone on to make logos and t-shirts and different designs for our viewers, which I think is really cool to be able to make that connection. So the next artist is a very dear friend of mine. You have seen her on our vlog before. She's been to visit my farm in Arkansas. She's been out here to visit the farm in South Carolina, and she's actually one of the moderators for our Facebook group. So if you take part in that Facebook group, she's one of the group that helps keep it a lovely place. So her name is Samantha from Harrow Farms, which I will again put links to where you can find her down below. It's kind of funny. This first one, it says, welcome to Roots Refuge Farm. And when she came to visit here, one of the times she's come to visit here, she's been here a couple times, I know she stopped and like took pictures of the entryway to make this. So that's pretty cool. This one's pretty special. I thought it was amazing that the two artists made something that kind of go together here. So we've got the stained glass from Carol, and then from Samantha, the greenhouse itself with flowers. It says grow up, which I think is really cool. This one was probably one of the most requested designs we've had. Chicken math leads to calculus here. And it on the calculator it says moo. How funny is that? We've got grow roots, create refuge. Jess made me do it. You guys are always saying that. Makes me feel kind of shy, but whatever. And here is get off your couch. We have land to heal. That is really special. Another one that you guys really requested. Again, all of these are references to our land, things that we've said, things that we've done. Incredibly humbling, but so fun to get to share this life with you. One of my favorite things about making stuff like this is you guys stick them on your water bottles and on your computers and on the back of your phone, and then you tell me the stories of how you ended up connecting with people because they said, hey, what's that about? And it opened a conversation that led to building community around gardening and growing food, which, that's ultimately what I want to do. So thank you so much for checking it out. The link's down below to where you can find our sticker shop as well as both of these artists. I cannot thank you enough for your help and support. When you do things like buy stickers, it helps us very much. Katie, do you need some attention? Y'all, you can watch the vlog now.
Oh yeah! And then we went through with the arms, and now he's stuck, and we both went now
Life on a farm with children means beautiful, peaceful sounds with playing in the background, which to some people might sound like noise, but to me, it's also a beautiful, peaceful sound. Katie girl! Woo, Katie's zooming! Sometimes people ask why Bear doesn't get to come in here, and it's because he does sometimes, but he's good with the animals, but the guardian dogs are in here, and while they do get along, one time when we had goats, one of the goats got caught up in the electric fence. One time one of the goats got caught up in the electric fence when we still had the goats, and Bear was in here, and Gabriel did not understand that it was the electric fence and not Bear. Like, Bear was the only factor that he was unfamiliar with, and Gabriel went for him. So I just feel like the most responsible thing to do for me is to leave Bear out of here. Oh, hey girl, there's Fern. She's very loving. And here's Freya. Hey girly. So these two new heifers are definitely our most social bovines. They are very, very sweet. They love attention, snuggles. They come up looking for treats. So that's kind of nice. Like having social animals. Hope and Helen are up here waiting on being milked. I'm gonna go around because it's muddy over there. Y'all, are these barn doors not amazing that the guys built? Noah Parker was tickled because he's like, it's like a barn door but on a barn. So yeah, that's where it originally came from. You see them in houses so much. I think we're gonna stain the wood. Oh, this is gonna be really nice to have when it gets colder. Originally we had planned on putting like gates in here, but then Helen calved on January 29th, and it was the coldest day we'd had the entire winter. And we were like, yeah, we need to be able to block this off, because at that time those door holes were completely empty. All right, Maya's out there hollering at the cows to give him a personal space bubble. They're all crowded up. I walked around and went through the other side of the barn so that I didn't have to go through the crowded Jersey pileup. So I'm hand milking this morning. It's just Hope. We've been turning the girls out in the field during the day. We were trying to catch their heat. I do think that we missed this heat because I waited for Maya to get home because he had been gone that day. And they weren't quite peak. When I put them out, Bo, the bull, definitely showed a lot of interest, but we didn't see him mount. Maybe we missed it. Maybe they actually got bred. But I'm trying to keep my expectations low so that I'm not disappointed. But because of that, we've been turning them out during the day, and therefore Helen is separated from Hallie during the day, and so she has to be milked in the evening, and then we put them back together. And so Hallie eats all through the evening, through the night if she wants to, probably doesn't a lot, and then eats in the morning, and then we turn her out again. So we're not milking Helen in the morning. We kind of like switched it up. A lot of you guys asked about this net door, and I just found this on Amazon. I'll link it, but this one's really wide, so make sure you measure whatever space you're trying to do. I got this wide one because obviously this isn't a normal size door frame. I think it's 4 feet wide, so you'll have to measure your door. All right, girl. Oh, she's so much cleaner staying over in that paddock rather than this one. We're gonna get that gravel spread out soon so we don't have to worry about muddy cats. So last night I ran into Walmart here in Batesburg, South Carolina. My teenagers were going on a youth trip this weekend down to Charleston to the beach. And I'd run in Walmart just real quick. I was running late, and they had called me when I was on my way home from out running errands, and I thought, okay, I'm gonna get home in time to unload everything, and then they called me and like, Mom, I need this one thing. So I had to run into Walmart with no time, and I ran back to the back of the store, didn't have a cart. I was just on a mission to get that one thing and get home in time to unload all of the stuff from Costco. They had a pallet like in the middle of one of the aisles of wide mouth quart mason jars, which I have not seen that many wide mouth quart mason jars anywhere in a very long time. And I stood there, I was like, and I stood there and I'm like, dang it, because I had no time. I did not have time to get them. I couldn't carry them because my hands were full. And so I was like, okay, just walk away. You don't have time. But I've thought about it since last night. So I'm gonna milk the cow and then I'm gonna go and buy some of those jars this morning. So a lot of you have asked me when you see me with my headphones in what I'm listening to. And I tell you guys, I listen to audiobooks a lot. I used to read like multiple novels a week before I had a farm and before I had as many children. Back when Jackson and Asher were really small and like still napped and stuff like that, and I actually had time to do that. But now I don't have a lot of time to sit down and read. I still love reading books. I end up collecting books that I don't really have time to sit down and read, but I love a real book, paper bound. But in the meantime, I do listen to a lot of audiobooks. And I had shared one that I listened to a little while ago called The Kitchen Front that I really liked. I think my favorite audiobooks or books to read or listen to are like World War II era books. So I just started a new one this morning. I have no idea if it's any good, but I just saw it recommended whenever I had searched for World War II books, and it's called The War Girls by V.S. Alexander. I literally just started it, so not necessarily a recommendation, but it is the answer to the question of what I'm listening to. Hey guys, it's actually been a few days since I filmed the first part of this video. I did get my jars, and I completely forgot that I shot the first part of this video. I was just unloading some SD cards for something that I was shooting for later this week, and I was like, oh, it's a vlog I haven't posted. So now I'm gonna finish it. I'm actually going through this box of seeds right here. Now, I did a video talking about all of these varieties a couple of months ago. I got these from Botanical Interests, which is a place I like to get seeds. They were having a sale at the time. I don't think they have a sale going on right now. I'm looking for some of my fall seeds. It's a little over halfway through August now. Currently 75, actually it's probably less than 75 right now. It was 75 was the high today. Oh, Bear's in the backyard and he hears me talking. I'll have to go get him. So I'm grabbing some of the like cool weather stuff. Now, even though it was very chilly today, oh good, Toby, let Bear out. My needy dog. Many of you comment about how Bear is always with me. I actually trained him to be that way. He actually spent like the first 9 months of his life on a leash that I would just like run through the belt loop of my pants and just take him everywhere with me. The exception was when we were in the kitchen, I would tie the leash to one of the kitchen cabinets, and so he could lay down in the kitchen. And so he went around to do like farm chores and all of those different things. By no means am I a professional dog trainer at all. That is not the case. In fact, Bear, if I told him to like shake, he probably would look at me like, what are you talking about? So he doesn't know a lot of tricks or anything like that, but he knows come here and leave it, which is really what I wanted him to know. And yeah, he's always underfoot, except for of course times whenever I like go into the yard like you guys saw earlier. And if he hears me on the front porch when he's in the backyard, he will fuss at me until he gets to come out here with me. Sorry, I digress. I've talked about Bear a couple times in this vlog. Cool weather crops, I'm gonna direct sow. If I'm right in sowing these right now and the weather does what I expect it to, I should be harvesting these things right as the weather really starts to change and it starts getting a lot cooler. The thing is with a lot of root vegetables and green leafy things, the things that we typically grow when it's cooler, they taste so much better whenever they have gone through a freeze, and it has to do with how they're storing their sugars. And if you've ever grown like a radish or a beet or a rutabaga or kale or lettuce when it was hot outside and you're like, I don't know why, but my homegrown stuff tasted so bad because it was really bitter. or maybe it was really tough and stringy or weird textured, try growing it through the cold or when it's at least cooler. So today I'm going to direct sow in my raised garden bed some calendula, which this is a flower that will grow when it's warm, but actually will live through a freeze. Rutabagas. So rutabagas are my favorite root vegetable. Well, carrots. I really like carrots too. But rutabagas are so good. They take a little bit longer to really get going, but my favorite way to eat them is to take them, peel them, boil them, and then mash them like mashed potatoes, and then mix in sour cream and chives. Oh, they're so good. I'm gonna go ahead and put some radishes in. I will definitely continue succession sowing radishes over the course of the next few months. Well, probably all the way up to the frost. When you're sowing things and it's already getting really cold, you might have a hard time getting them to germinate, but where I live, it can freeze at night and still be 70 degrees during the day. And also some beets. So not a ton of stuff, but a few things. I'll probably fill one bed up with these seeds, just to go ahead and get something going. And then we will also transplant out some of the things that we've started whenever it cools off a little bit. I've got them in the high tunnel under shade cloth right now. Y'all, I'm headed down to the garden to sow my seeds, and look at this beautiful Carolina sky. Isn't that lovely? Hey, are you sneezing, bud? Just cannot get over what a beautiful day that today is. Y'all hear the killdeers all yelling, because Bear's with me down to the garden. I want to say hi to the horses real quick before we plant. Today, Maya and the guys hung lights out on the awning of the barn. And that darling. Hey! Hey, guys! So, that's Honey, Hope's calf, the half Jersey, half red pole. Hopefully she's bred. This is Paisley, so some of you guys have spotted hers. We did not get a third horse. That's our friend Wes's horse. You've seen Wes on our vlogs. He's been on Wilder Still. He did some stickers for us once, the graphite drawings that were really, really cool. And his horse is staying over here right now while he works on some pastures on his farm. And then there's Bosco. I'm not sure where Lady is. Oh, she's over by the barn. Yeah, people have asked a few times about Maya's horses, and he's been working them in the round pen some, and it's just been really hot for round penning for the horses and the horsemen. But with the weather breaking, he's been round penning them more. So I bet he and Wes get on and ride here pretty soon. Their goal is, once they put the Devons next door, the beef cattle, next door on the pastures at Papa T's, they wanted to be able to like work the cows with horses. Because Wes was a cowboy. That's what he used to do. He used to ranch. And Jeremiah does harbor a dream of being a cowboy, which you guys have heard him talk about. All right, so we've got the raised beds. I actually think I'm gonna move the straw out of the way and finish planting the beds that have some summer stuff in them. So they'll be kind of nice and filling out with these seeds growing when that summer stuff comes out with the frost. And then when we transplant things out, we'll transplant them over in these. If you've already mulched a garden space and you wanna sow seeds, just move the mulch out of the way and let them sprout and then move it back. It's pretty simple. So one of the main reasons why direct sowing a fall garden can be problematic is because whenever it's hot, things that ideally grow in the cool don't germinate well. But if you've got a cool snap like I do, and it's starting to cool off in the evenings, maybe you're still having warm days, but if the evenings are cool enough that the soil temperature is going to be coming down some, you can a lot of times direct sow. So I'm going to go all the way down the side of this bed with, let's do rutabagas, my precious. I really love rutabagas. I just love harvesting like dinner from the garden. And though obviously the summer garden, we harvest a lot of food, I feel like we preserve more out of the summer garden. Whereas the winter garden, you know, I just go out and grab what I need for dinner that night. And that's just nice. It's so romantic. So I'm going to show you guys how I'm doing this here. Pretty simple. Remember, with seeds, you want to sow them about twice as deep as the seed is wide. So I'm not really poking a hole for these rutabaga seeds because they're very, very small. I'm just making a little dent in the soil, covering it up, trying to get one seed per hole, failing in some regards. It's fine. I'll just thin them out later. A couple can grow next to each other and still bulb, but I usually like to thin them out. So I think I'll do rutabagas down one side, and then I'll come down the other side and do beets, and then I'll move down to the next bed. Once these all sprout and I can move the mulch back, I'll probably come back and plant one row of something down the middle. This is a 4-foot bed, and when you're talking about root vegetables, I mean, I could probably do big cabbages right down the middle of this bed with roots on either side and have plenty of space for all that stuff. So on these root vegetables, I planted the rutabagas like 4 or 5 inches apart, and then the beets about like 3 to 4 inches apart. With beet seeds, let me show you guys some of these. These are bull's blood beets, and they look really different than the rutabagas. You see here, these seeds are a lot larger. With beet seeds, you may notice that you're like super careful to only drop one seed in the hole, and then you still get multiple seedlings. Not all the time, but sometimes, because each of those large beet seeds can actually have multiple seeds inside of it. That's just how beets grow. And chard, being very closely related to beets, can do that also. If you ever sow a chard seed and you see multiple plants coming up, that's why there's just multiple seeds in that actual shell. Now I sowed the beets closer together, and if 2 or 3 sprouts come up out of one seed, I'll leave them because I prefer beets on the smaller side. That's just how I like to eat them. I like to harvest them when they're small and more tender for roasting or for pickling, whereas rutabagas can get a little larger, so I gave them more space. Anything that you sow close together, it's just going to grow smaller, be it sunflowers or kale or roots. Giving them space where they're not crowded allows them to reach their full size. But in some cases it doesn't matter. Like if you're sowing lettuce greens, you can sow those super close together because you're going to harvest them in a few weeks when they're small leaves anyway. However, if you want head lettuce, you need to sow them 12 inches apart and give them space. So my preference of a handful of inches for rutabagas versus just a few inches for beets, and then not thinning those beets out, comes from the size that I like to eat things. Now there's still lots of seeds left in these packages, so I'm just going to, when I go inside, I have washi tape, which is like that paper tape you get at craft stores, and that's what I reseal seed packages with so they don't fall out. And then I'll sow more rows of rutabagas especially, and then probably some more beets that I can pickle and stuff like that. But I'll succession sow them so they're not all coming in at the same time. And probably 2 more weeks from now, that's what I usually do for succession sowing. It's just about every 2 weeks I put another round in. All right. Man, these plants are looking puny. All right, I'm gonna throw a few calendula seeds down here on the end. Aren't these interesting looking seeds? So cool. Okay, just make them a little space. Plant a few of them here that can get really big. I usually put a couple seeds per hole. If they germinate, then I will thin them out so it's just one plant growing per hole. So a few calendula plants here down on the end. Those will fill out nicely. So the French breakfast radishes, I'm just going to do like a section here in this bed. And being that it's still warm outside, but I mean, it's not as warm as it's not hot as it has been, these will probably grow pretty fast. I'll probably be harvesting these in like a month or so. They're probably going to be pretty strong flavored. Radishes do have the best flavor in the cold weather, but they'll grow okay in this weather. You'll note I'm not sowing carrots yet. They might actually germinate right now with how cool it is and how cool it's going to be for the next week. So I might just experiment, but my expectations would be low. Carrots do not germinate if the soil temperature is over 85 degrees Fahrenheit, 29 Celsius. Oh, hello, little cucumber. You need some attention? All right, so radish seeds are gonna go like 3 inches apart. You should maybe even go closer than that. And I'm putting them here in this soil that is a little dry right now, but we're supposed to get rain tonight. So I'm not even gonna water these in because I think the rain will do it for me. This soil is also not mulched. This is hard to do while holding a camera. All right, and I can kind of see all those holes, and I'm just gonna brush this soil over the top of them. So I want to clarify something just for the sake of you guys having success. Sowing small seeds before a rain is a little bit of a risk. Now, I have showed you guys before with carrot seeds how you can like put a board over them. The only other seeds that are really as small and light as carrots are lettuce, and a lot of lettuces actually need light to germinate, so you would not want to cover those up the way you would carrots. These are raised beds that drain really well, so I'm not actually too terribly concerned about these seeds getting moved around. They could. These are likely not going to get dislodged because where the rain might fall on them, there's so much here to keep the water from like really pooling up a lot. These will probably stay put. Not worried about the beet seeds because they're larger. They're not going to get moved around. The rutabaga seeds are small, so they might get a little bit moved around, but probably not a lot. Worst case scenario, they come up in crooked rows. They'll probably still grow. Carrots are the biggest concern because if they get very deep at all, they just won't germinate. A lot of people have trouble with the germination of carrot seeds, and it's because rain happens and then their seeds get moved around. And then carrots are weird, like they'll get kind of deep, but then they'll get moved around again, and then 6 months later you'll have a carrot growing somewhere you didn't put a seed. I'm not concerned about those. I think they'll all come up in the place that I put them. You guys, look at the sky. Wooing my little heart. That's beautiful. Here comes little Zuzu. In the last couple of my videos, she's been following me back up to the house. Oh, little shadow cat. Bear went back in with Jeremiah. Thank you guys for hanging out with me today. Can't believe we're planting fall garden seeds. How did that happen? I bless you.